So, folks, here's what we're going to do. At this point, we're going to start from the end. We're not going to start from the beginning. We're going to start from the end. And I'm going to show you that when I tell you that our Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has no business on the international stage. And you heard all the reasons when she was dancing and I was the overdub. You hear me give out all the reasons, the guy. And in fact, I think I have some of them even written down someplace right there. So you hear me talk about the UN vote on the humanitarian aid in Palestine, the Venezuela-Guyana issue, the Samoa agreement. I noticed when I hear not more about the Samoa agreement. Then there was one with the same-sex couple that went to there. No, you notice you don't hear not more about it. The Haitian issue, right? She was up front and center. We don't hear anything. No status report about our people in Haiti, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Now I'm going to play you a video and look at her reaction. Look at her reaction when the question's asked, and then listen to her answer, and then we'll break it down.
All right, so Mahiri, go ahead.
Which minister do you need?
Minister Johnson Smith.
Minister Johnson Smith, can you join me?
By the way, we want to big up Make Talk provide us the video. Yeah, video is courtesy of Make Talk. Remember, people tune in on Monday nights when Jeffrey Tavares he has an interesting program. Outstanding guests, and the topics are relevant and topical. It's something we're talking about every day. So on the tune in and listen to the man every night, every Monday night, 7 o'clock on Make We Talk. Jeffrey, thank you for this video. Yeah.
Good morning, Minister. Good morning, everyone. Happy Women's Day when it comes.
Morning.
Okay, so my question is Jamaica set to be negatively impacted by recent U.S. policy that's concerning the Cuban labor export program? I know that there was a recent CARICOM meeting regarding the matter. Is there any update in terms of how it's going to affect the region and how it's going to affect Jamaica?
Okay. The statement that was by the State Department is, I believe that's the point of reference for your question. So Jamaica's
people, wanna see what I want here? Wanna see what I want here? Let me play back that piece so wanna see what I want. Let me play back that piece.
Quite a long the statement
Matter. Is there any update in terms of how it's going to affect the region and how it's going to affect Jamaica?
Okay. The statement that was issued by the State Department is, I believe that's the point of reference for your question. So Jamaica's had quite a long history of participation in the Cuban Medical Cooperation Program. And in fact, that's replicated throughout the Caribbean. So this statement was received with some concern. We have been reaching out to get more information, to get greater clarity. I don't think I would be incorrect in saying that all of the members of the COF Corps have reached out to their U.S. counterparts or their U.S. contacts at different levels, as I have. And there is, I believe we anticipate some more information to come, greater clarity as to what is anticipated. In the meantime, the Jamaican government is also examining the operation of our system. We have over 400 participants from the Cuban medical program at different levels, doctors, nurses, biomedical engineers, technicians. So their presence here is of importance to our healthcare system. So as soon as we get more information, there is an engagement planned in short order with the CARICOM foreign ministers, the members of the COF Corps. And we also, I think, are anticipating that the U.S. embassies across the region will get additional formal information. And at that time, we should be better able to navigate the potential impact and the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we have a Caramak student ready to ask a question. Not sure where they are. Oh, okay.
All right. Let me move this.
Hello, good morning. I am Jomar Livingstone from Carmack. I have a
Okay.
question for the Honorable Olivia.
No, folks, make we talk. As Jeffrey Tavares would have said. She used the word anticipate so many times that me lost track of it. You notice when she was asked the question, oh, she got flustered. She look at her body language. She never know if if it twists or turn. Remember now, this is our chief diplomat. And here is a question that's been asked of her, a question that she should have anticipated because this is something that's been brewing. And when the man asked her, how will it impact Jamaica? Here we should start talk about CARICOM, a group we not trust Jamaica. And she said, well, we have to meet with the cuff car and we have to do this. And then she started about, oh, we're waiting for the U.S. Embassy to come back with more better information so we can navigate and we can put a plan and engagement plan in short order and examine our operations of systems. Remember, people are telling about the Wednesday night thing we're just gone, Remember me telling you, So the purpose of that is exactly what she just did. Give you beautiful string of words. And
glorified talkers with elaborate words.
Exactly.
Amounting to nothing.
Right.
No.
Right. So you hear something of something of logic, something of sense, something that will give you an idea that yes, we're on top of this problem. But when you cut through it, if I should give you a transcript of what she said, you would understand that she said absolutely nothing. What she just said, me no know what to do. That's what she just don't say. Me no know what to do. Right? If you should just look at a transcript of what she just said, Missy right. Confuffled. Yeah. She not understand. She not understand. Missy, she not understand she not understand. She don't know if to answer the question. No, people, here's what I want to tell you now. This question was asked this Wednesday, 3 days ago. But this issue with the Cubans, this issue is something that's been going on for a long time. And guess what? We have an ambassador in Washington, D.C. who should have, if she was doing her job, remember what I said? Read the tea leaves, read the room, and read. If she was doing her job, this is something that should have never occurred. Now, look on this. Kevin, let me get that. Oh, wait. You have to share screen, forget that thing, huh? Hold on there. The one where over here, so.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
go through it.
I got you.
Okay, all right. Go through it. You want me to go through?
Wait, how are we going to so? Okay, go ahead, and if you share the screen, then it will come up.
All right. I'm showing you something I know. People. When you remember this? Remember this. That was February 19. Secretary Rubio's call with Prime Minister Holness of Jamaica. Remember, we see something, we must say, I call him friend, or we don't know if that is the phone call, but the one that we saw would gave the appearance that our Prime Minister was talking to the Secretary of State, and they have a collegial relationship. Come and say, yes, my friend. We don't know, but that would make that it would appear that way. Now look at this. It was a very short phone call, And look at what they talked about. It says Secretary Rubio underscored the important historic and cultural ties between the United States and Jamaica, including the vibrant Jamaican diaspora. I'm going to talk about us. Then it says both leaders encouraged further strengthening of security cooperation while highlighting Jamaica's efforts to disrupt illicit trafficking and combat organized crime. Now, let me tell you what that means, and I spoke to Jared about that in diplomatic speak. What it means is that the Secretary of State looked upon the Prime Minister, and I can tell you, because it was a short call, there's no way them talk about all of them things here. No way, such a shortcut. The prime minister received his instructions. He received his instructions saying, listen, we are concerned about this, that, and that. And I'm also curious where this phone call took place because I saw videos of him going over to the embassy. I don't know if it's at the embassy he received this phone call. But two things that came up I can tell you about two things that came up in that phone call. One, China. Two, the Cuban program what we are talking about right now. That is a baby of Secretary Rubio. And I'm going to show you that Secretary Rubio never just come to this issue. He might talk about this issue for years. This issue has been going back and forth. Well, not going back and forth. It's been front and center in Washington, D.C. for a few years. Our ambassador should have seen this, should have known. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And what I don't want to do, this is a question. I don't want you to think through it. I just want you to tell me what you think. Don't think through it. Just tell me what you think. Just tell me, just give me your gut reaction. Right? Don't think it through. Who paid for the Cuban doctor then? And the Cuban nurse? Give me an answer, people. Quick. Who paid for the Cuban doctor and the Cuban nurse them? The medical professionals. Beautiful Butterfly say USA. Petro E say taxpayers. Anthony R taxpayers. Freedom Cuba.
Charmian say Cuba.
Taxpayers. All right. Leno said China. Some good guesses. USAID. Some good guesses. But most of them wrong.
Jamaica.
Yeah, most of them wrong. Because here's what happened. When I was growing up in Jamaica in the 70s, and the Cuban doctors and everybody would come to Jamaica, I was under the impression that it was a gift. Cuba full of doctors, and them say, we're going to save the world, we're going to help the world, and them just send people come. And we were happy for the extension of beneficence. We were happy for that. You know, them come and them give of themselves and their talent. Here when me find out, at Jamaica, pay for the Cuban doctor. And this is why the issue, and this is why the issue is a problem for people like Marco Rubio, who has taken a stance against Cuba. Right or wrong, I'm not. That's not my issue. That's not my issue. Mm-hmm. But that's the reason why they're taking a stance, because they look at it as servitude, they look at it as forced labor, they look at it as trafficking, human trafficking, because here's why. It has been reported that when the Cubans, they go all over them in a whole heap of countries, that's when they travel to these countries, host country governments pay the Cuban government for these doctors and medical professionals. And the Cuban government, they take a huge percentage of the salary. Huge percentage. Let me hold on.
So hold on. Wait, Rebel.
Yeah.
You're saying, let me phrase this the way Mr. Vumvavi would say. Are you telling me, Mr. Rattigan?
Yes.
That the Cuban government is pimping out their doctors, their medical personnel?
That's what it comes on to. That's what they're saying. Like I said, I don't make an argument one way or the other. I'm just looking at what the researchers, looking at the researchers, the commentators, the politicians, the people, the doctors themselves, the ones who have defected. I'm just reading what they have said. Now, let me show you something. Look at this. Maybe you want to big this up, Kevin. You can big that up?
Yeah, man, can make that look bigger, yes.
All right. I don't know if you can see that. You can big it up somewhere there. All right. See there? Look at what they say. It says the summary, Jamaican summary regarding the Cuban work, the medical program. It says Cuba's medical collaboration with Jamaica began in 1976. I remember because I was still living in Jamaica in 1976. No, you're gone too far now. Hold on. Let me bring it down now. Okay. All right. Good. Thanks. I'll wait there. All right, here it is. With 14 Cuban doctors deployed to that means Savannah Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland, in the western part of the country. The first contingent chief of brigade was blah, 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 blah. And then it says the Cuba-Jamaica collaboration was interrupted once in 1980 with the government of Edward Seaga. The collaboration began a new restart in 1991 under an agreement with Jamaica's Ministry of Health. And it says them have a Cuban-Venezuelan Operation Miracle, where them Cuban ophthalmologists carried out thousands of surgeries on people who lose them sight. Now look at this. Look at this. Let me show you. Let me show you right this out. Look at it right. It says, look at where it says prior to. It says prior to 2020, the contingent number 259, including 18 ophthalmologists assigned to Operation Miracle, blah, blah, blah. Here's a key one, the very last sentence. It says, the very last sentence. Second to last sentence. The duration of each worker's mission is 3 years. So them come Jamaica for 3 years. Look at the very last sentence. Each worker earns $650. I guess that means US dollars per month, or 37% of the 1,732 that Jamaica pays Cuba. See that? No such thing as a free lunch. See that? So Jamaica pay Cuba for a doctor 1,732, and see the average monthly salary for Jamaicans 586. Right? Not minimum wage, just the average. But we know that Jamaica is paying for these medical services. It's not free. And we know that the Secretary of State, this is an issue that's near and dear to him. So when you see that phone call that was made, this was part of the phone call, because you know why? Right after the phone call, within weeks after let me say weeks, when the phone call make again, Kevin, you remember?
The 19th.
The 19th of February.
19th.
Yeah. Within like 2 weeks or so. Let me look for my notes here. The 19th of February.
We're at 3 weeks now.
The 19th of February. Guess what, people? The 25th of February of this year, the US government expanded the visa programs, and we're going to talk to you about what that is. We're going to talk to you about it. We could go through some documents,
1 week later.
Yeah, I could show you something. So this came up during your discussion. We could go through the thing, Now, people, look at this. This is a document going back to 2019. 2019, where the US government, the US government was taking action against Cuban officials for exploiting Cuban doctors. Why them say exploiting? I mean, there are political reasons behind this, which we won't even get into. But the fact of the matter is that the Cuban doctors were not getting the money directly. The money was being paid to the Cuban government, and the Cuban government would then pay the Cuban doctors. And as it turns out, they were paying them far less than what they were collecting. Right? The Cuban government's paying far less. So they have this program here, and they say, okay, they're going to take visa action against Cuban officials. When they say of visa action, what they must say is that, visa. Here it is. Yeah. Here it is right there. The State Department is imposing visa restrictions under the INA, Immigration and Nationality Act, on Cuban officials responsible for certain exploitative and coercive labor practices as part of Cuba's overseas medical missions program. People, look on the date, September 2019. Now, we have an ambassador there, and if she read the tea leaves and things, this is what I would do based on my experience. All these things, I would have a folder. Anything coming out of the State Department, because remember, they are my primary contact, right? Anything coming out of the State Department, particularly if it has to do with the Caribbean, I am going to have a folder and make sure me dip on top of the issues, And if anything, me supposed to establish a contact over at the State Department so that when me say this, me can go to them and say, explain to me, what's the ramifications of this? You know, sure, people say you're interested in your work, man. You don't just come up because you want to look good and you pick them want to go to school and you want to dress up and go a cocktail party. Work for your money. This is the first one, right? September 2019. People, look on this now, September 2020. This is when Marco Rubio was a senator. And him and the gentleman now who are going to prison, Menendez, right? Another Cuban American. They come up with a bill, right? And here's the bill right here. It's called the Combating Trafficking of Cuban Doctors Act of 2020. See it, yeah? It's the bill, yeah. We don't have time to go through it, but it a talk about, say, they have to take action against the Cuban government because they pimp out the doctors, them, make the doctors them go to work, doctors and nurses, and then them collect the money and pay them wherever they want to pay them. Here's the bill. This is the bill. Right? You can look it up yourself, people. But this was done. This was done when Marco Rubio. Kevin, get me back to the like this. Like this. Like this.
Yeah, try that one.
No, more come back out of this and go back to the this is the bill. Yeah. So they want to take action in Angola, Guatemala, Mexico, Qatar, Venezuela. And look what I'm saying. The government of Cuba realized profits in excess of $6.3 million during 2018 from selling medical services. Right? This is what them document. All right.
That's not money.
That was 2020. Right? Look at this now. This is 2023. Them approach the Cuban representative in Jamaica, the Cuban ambassador to Jamaica, about it. And them interview him, Dina interview him, and him that they talk up the things, and him said the US government is lying. Him said they might try to do it because of the economic and financial blockade. Like I said, there's some politics involved in this as well. But regardless of the politics, Jamaica should have kept an eye on this and say, wait a minute, we see what's going on right here. So, you know. So what happens is that the Minister of Foreign Affairs should be in touch with the ambassador and say, keep your eye on this. And let us, you know, we could touch base maybe once a month on this issue. Talk to your contacts in Washington, see where this is going. But them not do that because they're lazy and them don't know two things: one, laziness, and two, them don't know what them are do. So this gentleman here, he might talk about how Cuba help out help out countries all over the place, and it's true. It's true. Cuba go all over the world and help people. It's true. But the issue is not the help, you know. The issue is that them say that the doctors them not they're not paid, right?
You know, somebody raised a comment on Reggae Global Radio. They said, remember, in Cuba, it doesn't really matter if you have a degree or not. Everybody gets paid the same.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You can't tell me, say, the government officials get the same pay as some guy who chop sugar cane. It's not true. It's not true. And look at this about government officials now. Right here. And him say, this is what the Cuban ambassador said. And him say that they have a salary in Cuba. They get 100% of their salary, and they are also receiving a huge amount of money working wherever they are as part of the agreement signed with the Cuban government. So Jamaica signed an agreement. So Jamaica appeal. So the first thing to note, people, this is not free. First thing to note. Let me see what else say right or so. And then some doctors actually sue the Cuban government, and he's saying that it's politically motivated. That might very well be the case. But what I'm saying is that the issue is here. Where Jamaica don't have to take any sides, you know. You just have to just pay attention to the issue and say, how can this affect? You're the guy, you're the reporter asked her, how will this affect us? And she can't answer. She talk about, well, we're gonna have a meeting in Caricom, and we're gonna wait for more clarification from the from State Department. Well, I'm going to show you what the State Department put out, and you tell me if you need more clarification. You tell me. Hold on a second. Let me go to the next one. All right. Here's something done by Harvard in 2024, March of 2024, and it's called Medical Servitude, the other side of Cuban medical diplomacy. Excellent article. Read this, and it explains the whole thing about how them get assigned overseas, how money is paid, all of this stuff. Let me move on to the next one, because we'll get to some. Here's another one. Forced labor designation for Cuban doctors highlights rift over sanctions, right? Because what some people are saying, and look at this. Look at this. Kevin, you have to big up this for me, you know. You have to big up this. This is June of last year, you know. Now showing all our diplomats, them asleep at the wheel. Here what happened? Them they in a car, a vehicle at speed, full speed ahead. Ahead is a T-junction. Some people might say you can only go left or right. No, you can't go straight. And that them do.
The road go left or right.
Straight is an option. Straight is an option. Them go straight. Look, you big it up, Kevin. All right, look on this. This is, you can see, June 26, 2024. Look at this, people. Look at the first paragraph. It says, the Biden administration, not the Trump administration, the Biden administration formally accused Cuba of profiting from forced labor on Monday, 2 months after President Biden signed a spending bill that requires the State Department to impose sanctions on third country officials who hire Cuban work brigades. No, you're telling me say you're sitting in Washington and you don't know this? You not say this? And you not prepare for this from June of last year? You don't know about the 2020 law, the bill where Menendez and Rubio. You don't know about that. You don't know about the 2019 effort by the government to hold the Cuban officials responsible for, as with them say, forced labor. I don't care whether I'm not. My argument is not about the forced labor. My argument is, how has Jamaica failed in its duties to prepare for this, right? So this is 2024, right? Now, we have more things, you know. No, we loaded around here. Look right at so. This is January now, 2025. Trafficking in persons and Cuba's labor export program. Coming from where? U.S. Department of State. Up to now, when I hear our ambassador, nobody talk about this, you know. Our world-class Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Not them don't see this. Them don't see this. That's what I said. Them don't see emerging trends, because them don't have that mind when they talk about intelligence gathering. Them don't have that mind. Because if you look at this, I hear them talk about national security issue. If you look at this as a national security issue, saying, well, you know what, this could affect us, and it will affect the Ministry of Health, it could affect this and that and that and that. You start deploying your analyst and say, take a look at this. Tell me, what does this portend for Jamaica in the future? What does this mean? Talk to the ambassador, talk to the desk officer, talk to the minister. What does this mean? Remember now, when people, the ambassador, the minister said, how much people should say? They about 400. How much people should say? Oh, she say Them have more than 400 medical professionals in Jamaica. No, it all get more interesting, people. So this is, see it right, sir. Each year, the Cuban government sends tens of thousands of workers around the globe under multi-year cooperation agreements negotiated with receiving countries. According to reporting from the Cuban government, there were roughly 28,000 workers in over 60 countries by the end of 2021. And then it goes on to talk about COVID. Let's move on. We have enough things to talk about. This one here is the February 19, 2025. When you see all the sequence of events, the phone call. Now, people, look on this. This is what, 1 week after the phone call. This is 1 week after the phone call, after the so-called body phone call. Right? It's coming from State Department. Right. No, right. Remember no. Marco Rubio was the gentleman in the Senate who co-sponsored that bill to deal with this issue in 2020, 5 years ago. Now look at what this said, them just put out. Today, we announced the expansion of an existing Cuba-related visa restriction policy that targets forced labor linked to the Cuban labor export program. This expanded policy applies to current or former Cuban government officials and other individuals, including foreign government officials who are believed to be responsible for or involved in the Cuban labor export program, particularly Cuba's overseas medical missions. Want to know what this means now, people? Want to know what this means now? Want to know what this means? This means that the Minister of Health, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Prime Minister, Minister of Labor, all of the other war ministers them involved in this, they stand to lose their prized US visa and God knows what else. Look at the date, February 25th, 2025. They said, we are expanding this program. And now if you in a Jamaica have people want to appear from Cuba, on the run the risk for we take on a visa. Right? So that's why you hear she come up and she say, yes, we're having meetings and blah, 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 blah. There. Every man for himself. You're supposed to look out for it from long time. Now you're going to try join up with CARICOM and try come as a group to deal with the US government. Where you did there when time Jamaica make the decision that them going to support Baroness Patricia Scotland? Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith, where were you when that decision was made with CARICOM? I want to broke it. And then where were you when about that vote in the UN? When Jamaica spearheaded the resolution, and now Jamaica had to vote for it, and our ambassador to the United Nations sitting in him seat like a piece of log, a wait pan Uno in a Kingston for game the not to tell him yes or no. And Uno no game. Uno never have the decency to tell the man get up and go to the bathroom because some kind of bathroom vote in the UN, where if there's a vote coming on the floor that you don't want to vote on, you just get up and go to the bathroom and make the vote go on without you. We never have the decency to make him do that. We make him sit down there and people and look on him. A French TV catch a man sit down there. Now vote. Right? So Funo, and see them go on to say, Cuba continues to profit from the forced labor of its workers, and the regime's abusive and coercive labor practices are well documented. Here they say, the United States is committed to countering forced labor practices around the globe. To do so, we must promote accountability not just for Cuban officials responsible for these policies, but also those complicit in the exploitation and forced labor of Cuban workers. They said the visa restriction policy is taken pursuant to 212A 3C of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So, Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith, Mr. Tufton and all the other people involved in this, we don't know what not for do now. We not for get rid of the 400 Cubans. And now what gonna happen now? Because our doctor fly the coop long time. All few doctor them there England, Canada, the US, Dubai, all over the place. What we going to do now? This, my people, is what you call short-sightedness. The signals were there in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. And guess what now? Red light, no? The amber light, they did it all along from 2019. A red light, no? A red light, no?
Mm-hmm.
Where else we have that, Kevin? Talk to me. This is one where them said destroying Cuba's international medical missions, and them said Marco Rubio's new goal. I don't even want to go into this, but it talks about the whole program. And all of you government officials watching, I hope you're taking notes because you've been sleeping at the wheel. Rattigan are doing the work for you. Rattigan is doing the work of the ambassador and the minister at the same time, right? So you can look on them articles, yeah. Don't forget, read the Harvard one too. Where else we have that, Kevin? Oh, watch out, Jamaics. CARICOM foreign ministers meet to discuss U.S. position on Cuban medical brigade. Now, let me tell them something now. As a region, given the position of this administration, this U.S. administration, you think CARICOM have any force?
No, not a youth.
You think CARICOM can come to this administration and say, hey, we're not doing foolishness, but we'll keep them people and we can't do nothing. You think that's how it work?
Not this administration.
No, the Biden administration passed it, but the Biden administration did not enforce it. This administration come now and say, because where you have a lead, you have a Cuban American a lead it,
Mm-hmm.
And him vehemently opposed the Cuban administration. So him going to make sure that this thing will work. So here is now them a talk about them meet already and blah blah blah. And them are going to call embassy and them are going to find out for clarification all kind of nonsense. Hold on, man. See this? Human medical missions under threat. But I want to get to right, this no. Peter? U.S. restricts visa for Cuban-linked medical missions. We have any more, Kevin? I think we'd have one more. Yeah, no, that may very well.
I think that's all of them that you went through.
Yeah, all eyes, Cuban, Menendez, forced labor, CARICOM, expansion of visa actions against Cuban officials. Yeah. So where is Melania? Sita, Melania. I just want to play something. Hold on.
This is just a question.
Listen to the answer.
Their U.S. counterparts or their U.S. contacts.
Hold on.
We have been reaching out to get more information, to get greater clarity. I don't think I would be incorrect in saying that all of the members of the COF Corps have reached out to their U.S. counterparts or their U.S. contacts at different levels, as I have. And there is, I believe we anticipate some more information to come, greater clarity as to what is anticipated.
Hold on a second. This lady is a very bright lady, so I've been told. Pearlie says she's clueless. Yeah, Pearlie says she's clueless. Remember, she said we're waiting to get greater clarity about what the State Department said. You should have get the greater clarity from 2019. From 2019, between 2019 and last year, whatever, you should have get the clarity, right? But people, let me show you what she says she will need clarity upon. I'm going to tell me if you need no clarity upon this. Kevin, big this up for me, no, brother. Please. We just show it a while ago. This is what she says she need clarity upon, you know.
There's not a whole lot of clarity that's needed there.
Let me read it for all who can't see it, you know. This is what she said need clarity upon. It says, the US government says, on February 25th, said, today, February 25th, we announced the expansion of an existing Cuba-related visa restriction policy, yes, that targets forced labor linked to the Cuban labor export program. This expanded policy applies to current or former Cuban government officials and other individuals, including foreign government officials who are believed to be responsible for or involved in the Cuban labor export program, particularly Cuba's overseas medical missions. Tell me now, we need clarification about that, people.
The words are not simple.
Terms. What them say is this. Them say, listen, we the US government, we don't like what the Cubans them are do. For whatever reason. Some people might say it's political and the embargo and whatnot. But we are talking about understanding what was said. She said she need clarification. What they say is that we expand the program, and in addition to holding Cuban government officials responsible, anybody who involved in this program, I won't pay Cuba. We are going to take on a visa. No, Minister Kamina Johnson Smith, I humbly ask you, what is there you don't understand about that? What is there you don't understand about that? That you're going to need clarification and you're going to talk to the US embassy and let me tell you how stupid this is, people. This came from Washington, D.C. You don't speak to the embassy about this because the embassy will have to come back to Washington, D.C. Here's what you do. You call up your damn ambassador and say, listen, get in touch with your contacts in Washington. You in Washington, them in Washington. This is where you do the influence. This is where you do the influence peddling. This is where you do the lobbying. Not in Jamaica. Jamaica is going to have to come to Washington and talk to the same people where she meaning the ambassador will have to talk to. So why don't you short circuit the whole thing and just say, Ambassador Marks, where you do? Who are your contacts over State Department? By the way, speaking about contacts, Ambassador Marks, Kevin, we have a area, right?
Kevin, remember, it's his favorite minister.
Kevin, you have something for Ambassador Marks.
No, she's the second favorite. She's the second favorite.
Where Ambassador Marks? Why you hold me back, Kevin? Why you hold me back?
No, you see, she wasn't a part of this whole thing.
Kevin, we have, hold on, man. I'm going to let me know. No, Kevin, don't try and spare her because we have documents from August 7, 2020. We have 2 documents for February 6, 2024 and 2 for February 8, 2024. Kevin, hold me back, sir.
We have several documents for her.
Yeah, so don't hold me back because here's what happened. She should have, the foreign minister should have never made a statement like that. I mean,
but here's something that we often overlook. We're talking about a group of individuals that operate in a bubble. So we have our ministers operating in a bubble within their respective parties. We have them operating in a bubble as it relates to the
You think you're smart? You think you're smart, Mr. Kevin, where you're there? We'll find it. You think you're smart? Yeah, hide it. But see it right there.
I didn't hide anything. Everything is right there.
No, you hide it.
It label, rebel. It label.
People, let me tell you, Kevin, I hide things from around here. I don't know where I'm going with Kevin. Kevin must say, I don't know if Kevin go at the Independence ball. They must invite Kevin. I don't know. But Kevin and me sit down and we go through a whole bunch of documents and Kevin hide it between 2 towns right as a CT chop. I hit your teacher right as
I Kevin I play the music when you dance to.
Yeah.
But what you said, Jamaica, after I set up the thing them earlier, this man come and move and rearrange and then me get the blame.
Jamaica, you don't move nothing, Jamaica. Kevin hide the thing.
I'm out of this. You don't locate the document. I'm here.
See,
Anyway,
all right. Somebody
what
said
I
we
was
must
saying-
read. Somebody said we must read the thing. It says today we announce this is the U.S. government speaking to the world. Today,
Mhm.
and today is February 25th, right? It says we announce the expansion of an existing Cuba-related visa restriction policy. Remember the policy under Joe Biden and the bill and the law? Remember that? It says that targets forced labor link. And forced labor, they're saying that the Cuban doctors and medical professionals are working in foreign countries, but they're not being paid appropriately. That the money is coming back to, how about that? Oh, it says that the money is coming back to the Cuban government, and then they are paying the medical professionals whatever them feel like. So it's like slave labor, and them hold on them passport when them travel. Them have people watch them, all of this stuff. So them said this expanded policy, you say, them are expanded applies to current or former Cuban government officials and other individuals, including foreign government officials like Jamaica Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and others who are believed to be responsible for. And you see when them say believed to be responsible for, it's easy because them just look and say, oh, no, have an agreement because the Cubans never just send them over. There's an agreement. And them say, oh, so, and no matter who signed the agreement, the fact of the matter is that the agreement is enforced. And they must say, no, we don't need to send back them people, send them back to Cuba. And we have 400 of them that provide invaluable medical services to our people, you know, despite the dilapidated conditions of the hospitals, dilapidated conditions and the outdated equipment we have, and the malfunctioning equipment we have. Them Cubans, them still do their work, and now the U.S. government has said, "We're not to send them home."
They have skill sets because they have skill sets that they can function in that. They have skill sets that they can function in that. They can effectively make a difference. They can heal. They can help to heal people, so they can work in those conditions. Again, remember what I was saying. The people are working in a bubble in Jamaica. So the ambassador in a bubble over there and our Minister of Foreign Affairs here is just wearing that title and then wear it and use the position to take trips to various countries so she can go dance to the people.
Look, Kevin, I'll show you how sophomoric, how juvenile, how unprofessional our ambassador.
Did he just say sophomoric?
Sophomoric, yeah. She not understand the nuances of diplomacy. She have a title, but she not work for the title. Because here's what happened. If I'm me there, you have to have your links. No, people wanna remember, you know, when they travel advisory, you know, when that travel advisory, them start make a whole heap of thing when the US government say because of crime and because of medical, the lack of proper medical facilities, they never said them are gonna move it to 3 now. It was already at 3. It was already at 3. And our ambassador said she go try and move it. And I don't know why I'm telling her what in our office. I don't know why I'm telling her what no there. I don't know why I'm telling her. But State Department people went there and them come out and them laugh. Come out and them laugh because we shall try. Shall do some things when no work. It might work in Jamaica, but no work in America. When you deal with people. When you deal with people who sign ethical agreements. No land principles of good government. When people sign them, the thing there.
They don't know about that.
When them come with no work. Right? But the Jamaica, nobody no sign it, so them can't do what they want to do. But here is Kevin, you move it again. No, see that. Let me make sure we do it before Kevin. Kevin look like he wants to see you.
Kevin, the man and a roll in a man.
All right. Remember this lady here, right? The one who we pay too much money to come to Washington, come represent us, and then it looked like she only represent herself because she don't know where she do. This is lost in space, you know. Go ahead.
Uncle, make sure you're on your best behavior. Continue, please.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, all right. I'll make sure I'm on my best behavior. No, look at this here now. She hear what you do now. Look how this is so foolish. You come out in the media and say, I want the US State Department to rescind the level 3 travel. You don't do this is something you do behind closed door. Ambassador Marks, call me if you need a little bit of tutoring on how to do diplomacy with the US government. You don't come out and do this because this is a surefire way of them not doing what you want them do. There's a certain way you do this, Ambassador Marks, and I'm disappointed and embarrassed at your behavior because you've been here long enough that you should know this. You don't come out and put this headline out here because them and a Jamaican alone read Jamaican newspaper, you know. You forget them have an embassy in Jamaica where them collect information, them read everything. But look what she said. She said the department has put Jamaica at level 3. She not tell them say they're level 3 long time. From COVID, I think it was that they are 4 of COVID and it come down to 3. She not tell them that. But look at what she said. Look at this. Kevin, big this up for me. Let me make the people in the diaspora see this. Look on that sentence at the top. It says, Marx has also called for all stakeholders, especially those in the diaspora. Oh, wait there. Yeah, especially those in the diaspora, to persuade the State Department to revise the advisory. No, here is why this is dangerous. Here's why this is dangerous. First of all, this shows laziness. Your job. It's your job to persuade the State Department to revise it. Now, here is something else. You see all of the people when they're on the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, if them reach out to try persuade State Department, that is a violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. That is a violation, especially when them no register. Not especially. Yeah. If you don't register, it's a violation. And we know so none of them no register. We know that. This is a problem. Shall tell people for commit crimes in America. Ambassador Marks, do you understand what you're doing? You don't. And here is something else. Let me show you something. Which part is there? She says something else. She says something else here that. Oh, Lester, do that piece there. All right, Lester. Big up yourself, Lester. This is another one. Jamaica's ambassador working for reversal of latest U.S. travel advisory. Somebody should ask her, what is the travel advisory now, Madam Ambassador? They see him.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Your expectations of some of these representatives, whereas it is in the right place, theoretically, you really, unless there's is significant change, you really can't be expecting them to do their jobs. Really and truly. We have seen time and time again where they have sidestepped and collected, make them pocket fat, go retire and feel good.
Right.
You expect that to change when?
Well, here's what happened. You're right. At this point, we expect it to change because we have a bunch of. I don't want to use any derogatory descriptive terms for them because my nephew reminded me that I must be on my best behavior, so I'm going to keep it clean. All I'm going to say is that their efforts have been inadequate. It hasn't moved the needle, and I would like for you, Mr. Kevin, where you're there, to please big up the screen for me because I want to show people something. All right. Look at what. No, listen. No, let me hide it first. No, our ambassador, she no said, well, the medical facility is no good. Or yeah, we have crime. In fact, she said tourists are safe in Jamaica. She not talk about our people in Jamaica, we are dead like blackbirds. She said tourists are safe. Americans, don't worry about it. And she not touch the medical piece. Meanwhile, at the medical piece, the second one, the second one that come about, the crime was before that. So you think she would have blamed, if she would blame anything, she would have blamed that. Would have blamed the crime, blame the medical facilities. Because we all see the videos. No. Our esteemed ambassador, I look for a scapegoat for blame. Look who she blame people. Look right this out. Marx said that one Jamaican group seeking to garner attention for their own purposes in upcoming elections use exaggerated rhetoric that unfortunately gave the impression that there was a serious outbreak of violence in the island.
Let me
You
see if I
know
can
which
make this any
one
bigger.
Jamaica group? Hold on there. If you don't know,
Bigger.
see, yeah. Oh, wait there, you gone. Oh, see. Wait there, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
Tita.
for the many movies.
Tita, Mark said that one Jamaican group. That sound like one Jamaica legal offense.
It sounds like it, but we're not saying that is it, you know.
Is it a
sound
play
like
on word? Is it a play on word?
the dirty,
One-
dirty.
But Kevin, me have something else, not Kevin. No, hold on. Me have something else. Kevin, you hide things from me, no Kevin. Oh,
Oh, me
this
no.
one is 2020 with the first one where she never made no argument about. Hold on there. The 2024. Okay. All right. Kevin, one Jamaican group. I need you to big up this thing here so people can get an idea of who that one Jamaican group is that she's talking
Wait a
about.
minute. What just happened here, sir? Hold on. All the most dangerous part of the code.
All right. Sita,
Here we
you can big that up for me, brother. Yes, hold on a second. All right, top. No, go no further yet. Hold on, brother. Hold on. All right. All right. Here you know. No, she said this one Jamaican group is seeking to exert political influence in the upcoming elections. Now, upcoming elections, we'll find out which she talk about because these are like last year and we don't have no elections yet. So it's like upcoming from last year, upcoming. Look at what she said.
Biblical terms.
Yeah. Secondly, she said, and to answer your queries, I will share what we understand has triggered this situation. So now we're going to find out about this one Jamaica group. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, in seeking to use the upcoming elections in this is January, this must say February. Oh, well, how about this? What the date on this, brother? Well, on there. What the date on this? February 2024. See that that's all. February 2024, right? The election are upcoming from 2024 till now. But look what she said now. She said a couple of weeks ago, in seeking to use the upcoming elections in Jamaica to garner immediate attention, approximately 30 members of the Jamaica diaspora in the USA staged a protest in Miami to highlight concerns about crime in Jamaica. This statement sound like me.
Boy, you resemble that comment.
I resemble the statement. Look what she said. Their rhetoric, unfortunately, gave the impression that there was a serious outbreak of violence in the island. Ambassador Marks.
The rhetoric.
No, Ambassador Marks, you have a very well accomplished CG in Miami. Apparently, you didn't speak to him because if you did, he would have said we were out there protesting a number of things, and then Ambassador Arthur Marks, why would you see it fit? We're exercising our constitutional right, and then now you're gonna say that we are the one who caused the U.S. government to keep the level at 3. If we had no way, they would have moved it to 4. We'd have called for 5. 5 we have called for. And them said, no, we'll keep it at 3. Arjo Marks around Ambassador Marks. I'm not one to be taken lightly. I do my homework around here, ma'am. I have a ton of experience and I try to think critically. Not all the time. But I'd like to believe that most of the time. You know, and I'm fairly good at analyzing situations. The FBI taught me very well. Very well. And being a lawyer, that put me in a different league. So I just want you to know that when you come out and yes, sir.
Sorry, finish your statement. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say to her, she said the government, if you look at the next paragraph, it says the government of Jamaica disagrees strongly with the contents of the revised travel advisory as it distorts the reality and facts in Jamaica Ambassador Marks, you are the one distorting the reality and facts in
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Thank you.
You are the one. You must take some blame, you know. Why is it that Jamaican politicians of all stripes, them don't take blame when things happen? Politicians and high-ranking officials, them don't take blame when it happen for them watch. Them fine. Look what she got blame now. She got blame. She got blame 30 Jamaican. You don't, Kevin. You never out there. You don't want to get in a mix-up, you know. You never out there.
I didn't make it. But I'm very much in support of it that day.
It don't make a difference because you're pictured at the airport. I wait for you. So,
yes, it is. Thanks.
so, no, here's the thing. Here's the point I wanted to make. This thing about the Cuban brigade, you know, the so-called exploitation of the Cuban medical professionals. There's been a steady drumbeat since 2019, and maybe even before that. And now we see where it's going to affect Jamaica. Two things. Who is the ambassador going to blame now for this? And where is the ambassador? I see that she was protesting to State Department to lift the travel advisory. How come she not out there now and tell them a protest now and say, no, you can't take the Cuban, you can't force the Cuban workers in home. Oh, she know what they do that.
She love our visa.
Oh, she love her visa. How come she not out there? See them come out and talk about travel advisory and blame 30 people out there. And now the US government say, we are the big bad US government. And we say, we have to send back them 400 Cuban workers, the RLs. And we are going to leave it right there, so RLs. And then you notice them quiet as a church mouse. The minister look like bee stinger. She just go on a ton fool and look all over the place. You know, she can't answer the question. The question, that's a very simple one. What does this portend for Jamaica? And this does not look good, because if the US government follows through on this and says you cannot have these people working in Jamaica and you paying salaries to the Cuban government, because if you do, or if you continue, you're going to lose your visa. You think them want to lose visa? When them want to come to Miami, come shopping for Christmas? Or you think them want to ask them friend to go shopping for them?
I go to the hospital.
Eh?
I go to the hospital because they don't use the ones here.
Yes.
Or even to send their children to school.
Yes. And I think the visa extension, I think the visa program might even involve relatives of the government officials. So, people, this no look good. Kevin, thank you very much. Let me use up this thing here.
Let me ask you. Let me ask a couple of questions here related to some comments in the chat, and I needed to pay attention to the
Stafford. Yeah, asleep.
Yeah, Stafford is here. Stafford is here.
Yeah, Mrs. Stafford. Yeah. Are you take notes? All right.
Rebel.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I need you to pay attention to some things in the chat room here now. Excuse me. So Marlon Morgan is in the chat, back in the chat. We realize that Mr. Morgan, if anybody blamed you for the blackout earlier of the chat, we do apologize, sir. I apologize on their behalf publicly. It was not your fault, and we're aware of that. Well, I am aware of that. I know everybody else is. But at 5:30, so 8 minutes ago, there was a comment that you made. I noticed your propaganda, friend, so-called man in the wilderness. We in lonesome part ways. I don't know what that have to do with anything right here. The JLP makes a safe environment for tourists. At another point, you made the comment about, or you reiterated that the JLP makes a safe environment for tourists or for our visitors. Sir, you really going to put in black and white so people can read it that the JLP makes a safe environment for tourists, and not to say that Jamaica embarks on the journey of making a safer Jamaica for all Jamaicans. Seriously? You miss out on an opportunity like that? Tell me how. Tell me why. So what kind of rhetoric somebody spreading about what propaganda? So you're clearing up the propaganda that JLP is not doing anything to make the country safer. Is that the propaganda you're clearing up, or the propaganda that JLP is not protecting tourists? I don't understand. I don't get it. Maybe because I'm reading your comment in a bubble, and context matters, according to ISAT. So I don't know. You might need to open the phone line for Mr. Morgan alone, Rebel. I don't know. I might need to give him my number so he calls my phone, and I add him to this program so that he can justify his statement. But Morland Morgan, I personally don't know who you are. I don't know if anybody else can tell me who you are. And I noticed that you're commenting that you want to show some women some respect, and I'm cool with that. I want you to show all our women respect. The majority of the people in the chat room right here are women. Give them some respect. And we give respect every day. We're not talking about the individual. We're not talking about anything. We don't know these individuals. We know what they do. So if we don't respect what they do, then there's a reason for that. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And if they happen to be women, then so be it. I'll fix that, Rebel. Don't sweat it. Just go. Yeah, just go back.
I have many questions.
So, Mr. Morgan, understand. When you come on here, don't talk in a bubble. 1. 2, make sure you back up anything that you're going to be presenting. So the JLP has been making sure that our tourists are safe. That means if you are not a tourist, you're a visiting Jamaican, or if you're not doing the tourist thing where you're booking your stay in a resort, in an all-inclusive resort, that you don't have to leave the resort for any reason, then you're safe. Make it make sense. That's not visiting Jamaica. That's visiting a resort in the country of Jamaica.
So true.
So if you're representing the JLP right now, remember this: you are failing, sir. That is no representation. That is no positive representation. And like Mr. Vumbaba would say, I yield, Mr. Hattigan.
You're muted. Uncle, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. This is a statement attributed to our ambassador to the United States. It says, pointing out there were over 3 million US visitors to Jamaica in 2023. She noted that there were only 5 homicides, and those, regrettably, were Jamaican Americans who were not in resort areas. So you see where our focus is. She said that of the 5 killed, 2 were gang-related, 2 were robberies, and 1 was interpersonal conflict. Now, they said the government continues to take all efforts to address crime in Jamaica. Now, look at this thing about healthcare. She said that similar to many developing countries, Jamaica's healthcare system is not fully resourced, but operates at international benchmarks. Where is this lady from? Where is this lady from, and where is she going? Because we know where she is.
Wow.
Where should we go with this, with the foolishness here?
Wow.
Let me move this.
I have so much questions.
You're so confused.
I have so much questions. First thing I want to say, ignorance is being rewarded and hard work is being shunned. Because how on earth does these people get the opportunity to represent Jamaica? And I want to say, Marlon Morgan from the chat, I know Uncle Rattigan will welcome you on the platform so you can have a fulsome discussion.
Yeah.
Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. You have done that. So take the opportunity to come and clear up what you have said. Because right now the Jamaican people are looking on your sideways. It don't look good, brother. Don't look good. And I hear when you were reading, you say Marco Rubio is enforcing an existing policy.
Yes.
Nothing
See,
new.
keep
It's nothing.
talking. Keep talking.
So that simple means that it's about reactiveness than proactive. Or no acting at all. No acting to the situation. Because after a minister come to speak to the nation, don't have nothing to say. Remember, on Nationwide, on February 28th, this news broke nationally, right? As you said, from February 19, you said this something from 2019, Uncle Rattigan, right? It's
Well,
something,
Yeah, from here it is. Here it is right here. Hold on. Here it is.
context matters.
Yeah, there it is right there. September 30, 2019. And
All
that's for
right.
the Cuban doctors.
that's the
Thank you.
doctors.
Thank
That's a
you.
doctor.
So it starts
That's
from, wait, we can go back to 2019. Yeah.
Thank you. But on in February 28th of this year, the news broke in Jamaica and nationwide, a news network where a lot of people are of the impression that it's batting for the government. And we have a foreign affairs minister coming on March 5th, right, to speak about this situation. And we can put it into context again. It is like, let's use an analogy. A plumber know of the situation that your pipe is leaking in your bathroom. When the plumber comes, he's wondering what happened. And you have any wrench, you don't have any wrench, you don't have nothing to work with. That is our foreign affairs minister coming to speak to the press without a wrench, without any tangent, nothing. And I want to ask people, did she get the 200% increase as well?
Yeah.
I really
No,
want to ask this because if the Auditor General, Pamela Monroe Ellis, on January 15th, 2025, came out and said that over $830 billion is unaccounted for. We still cannot give account for that, right? Over 500 nurses from 2018 annually is leaving Jamaica, right? And a news like this broke. About 400 Cuban nurses are here in Jamaica. There's no action to replace these nurses or potentially them leaving. What type of system do we have? When we spoke about cockistocracy being led by the least among us, it's been highlighted every day. And we don't forget, Miss Johnson, when you told our kids in university in Ukraine that they have to pay a loan for come here when bomb a drop over there. Oh my God, incompetence. That's all I can say. But me still I wonder if she got the 200% increase as well.
Well, Jamaics, look at what on the screen. Because you were saying that they're reactive, they're not proactive. Look at the date again. Remember we talked about this, Said the date is June of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is. It says the Biden administration formally accused Cuba of profiting from forced labor on Monday, 2 months after President Biden signed a spending bill that requires the State Department to impose sanctions on third country officials who hire Cuban work brigades. We never see this.
God.
And when they use the term third country officials, they're referring to whom?
They're referring to anyone having to do with the contract to bring the Cuban workers. Like, let's take the case of Jamaica, for example. anyone involved with the contract and they said former and present. Let me show you which part.
You read that
part.
earlier.
Yeah, where my Marco Rubio him say, I think is well on the here it is. It says former current Cuban government officials and other individuals. So I guess former and current apply to them as well. But look at this. Look at this. This policy applies also to the immediate family members of such persons.
Ooh. Talking about family members who just mess you up, eh? Oh my God.
See there? So now make up things, people. We just present the facts and then you use your critical thinking and arrive at a decision.
And
that's how we ask if you.
I want to big up my Cuban friend that is joining in now, watching. We love and respect Cuba. And I've worked with Cubans, very brilliant people. Yeah, so I want to say big respect to my Cuban friend that is watching.
We want to make it clear that we not get involved in the politics. We're not involved. All we're saying is that this is an issue that Jamaica should have on radar from 2019 and make preparations. You should not have this.
Time, the Jamaican government is also examining the operation of our system. We have over 400 participants from the Cuban medical program at different.
Now you're looking at your system. This week Wednesday, you're looking at your system. This thing has been brewing since 2019. And now we're going to take a good look at it now and see if we can do something to fix it. And guess what? Now all of a sudden we and CARICOM are friends. All of a sudden now we're having meeting with CARICOM and we want to approach them. And when it no suit we not with CARICOM. You're not with CARICOM. You think CARICOM don't realize this? By the way, Madam the Minister, warm to the man them they are here today. When I hear you come back and say nothing about that. Who dead? Who I eat fish head? We don't know. We don't hear nothing more. But let me close off that. Kevin, I just want to thank you for helping me put this thing together. And if you notice, we didn't put anything in green.
Kevin, the man enjoy himself with the man.
Hey, listen, wait, we're still early in the broadcast.
No. Let me show them something. Let me show them something before. Let me show them something. Is Kevin? No, another one there.
There's a comment as you look for that. Someone had sent me a comment here. Let me see if I can pull it up back because it is quite. Here we go. They said it is. Remember, none of the medical staff from Cuba paid for their education. It is free on the government. Thus, Cubans are not allowed to benefit independently from the education of the government. They get a stipend. Many of the workers are doing extra jobs in Jamaica to earn other money. That's why Jamaican pay the Cuban government and not the workers. So, and this is not just the medical staff, all their engineers, among others.
Kevin, there's a... Oh, all right. Hold on a second there. We'll find it. All right, people. No. Stafford, just hold on for the Stafford. You don't know Stafford. Oh, Stafford said we can't go on. All right, hold on. No, I want to show... I have to show this. I have to show this again, people. And by the way, just so you know, Kevin Production.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaica's dancing sensation, Minister Johnson Smith, doing the drift. Let's go. Drift from the UNESCO vote. Drift from the UK prison deal. Drift from the Ukraine vote. Drift for the Moroccan fertilizer deal. Drift from the UN no vote. Drift from the Venezuela-Guyana issue. Drift from the Commonwealth election. Drift from Senator Floyd Morris. Drift from Senator A.J. Nicholson. Drift from the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. Drift from working for the Jamaican people. And drift into oblivion.
See him, so? What's your point? Your point, Aaron, I said this a minute ago, right? No, we do that, people. We do that for a reason, because here's what we are going to show now. It's Kevin. No, like this.
Was the narrator Morgan Freeman? That
Look
sounds like
here.
a movie star voice, you know.
I saw it is. That's what it is. Drift from the camera.
People, you see how
You hear over there with Carl?
And drift into oblivion.
All the time I get that low, people is when we lay down on the ground.
No. But
my
sometimes you have to take serious things and laugh, and people. You have to take serious things and laugh. All right. Think that the day I would do, I'm gonna forget, but in Ghana, my boy there,
Right.
Conrad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but anyway, take a look at this, people. I'm going to show you something. Look at this. She was speaking this past Wednesday now, but we're not going to play the video. We're just going to show you the reporting. This past Wednesday, she said, women dominate senior management at Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. All right, I hope, honestly, where me I go with this. All of my people who have critical thinking and I exercise it, honestly, where me I go with this. All right. It says, here it is, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, addresses Tuesday's International Women's Day edition of the post-cabinet press briefing held at Jamaica House. And here she said, 82% of the senior management of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade are women.
Mm-hmm.
No. Make with that. Well, go on, Kevin. Okay.
Hold on,
All right.
hold on. Just put your finger real quick. Oh,
I'm another
hold
one.
on. It's all right. I'll go fix that. There we go.
All right. So today is International Women's Day, and they're observing it under the theme accelerate action, meaning speed up action. I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm have 23 out of, you should say 23 out of 28 senior managers at the ministry are female. Out of our 19 missions and consular postings overseas, 10 are headed by women, and the same number are deputies, she said. All right. So she talk about this. She said all of the previous foreign ministers were males, and I was able to introduce them to the leadership, blah, 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 blah. And she talked about how, how she's proud of the women and what a wonderful time to be a woman in Jamaica and blah, 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 blah. Now, let me move this and give my soapbox thing on this. No, people. I wait there. I know me I draw for something, I know me I draw for something because Kevin now make me come out as a naked. And when I say naked, not literally. I mean, yeah. Kevin now make me come here so and have something for sure now. All right, see it here. I mean, no. Now, here's what happened. International Women's Day. And they come to celebrate in advance, celebrate the achievement of women. But you hear what she said? 25 out of 28 management positions in a PR office occupied by women.
Mm-hmm.
Question you have to ask yourself is, has the pendulum swung too far? Are more than one question. Do we have men who have applied for these jobs and never get it because there's a policy of appointing women? Right? How many men do we have? How many men do we have in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Have they applied and all that stuff? Here's why I ask you. I ask you because in light of International Women's Day, that yes, we are highlight achievement by women, but don't go too far with it. Because guess what? I receive complaints from men this week from Jamaica talking about this issue, saying how dare she go and publicize this and talk about women, because you know why, people? You know why? I'm going to show you why. No founder never see this. No founder never see this. Me guarantee this. But take a look at this. See that? There's a policy. There's a policy. This policy came out in 2011 under a JLP government. And if you don't believe me, take a look at this. See that? March 2011. Look who do the forward. Look who, message from the minister. See that top line? Message from the minister. Who's the minister? See the minister, yeah? A young Babsy Grange. See it? And look at, now, we use the green now. Kevin tell me something can get wild with the green.
Jamaica, I told the broadcast was still early, right?
I don't realize.
Okay.
Right? No, look at what she said. I'm just going to read you some of the things that she wrote. She said, the second highlighted one, she said, well, the first one, I'm pleased to say that the government of Jamaica remains committed to the principle of gender equality. People, I hope you understand what gender equality means, you know. It's not only for women, it's also for men. And here what she said, over the years, in keeping with this resolve, several measures have been undertaken to promote gender balance between women and men. Balance. 25 and 3 is not balance, that's unbalance. No. Look at another one right here. In order to ensure that women and men have equal access to opportunities, resources, and rewards towards promoting sustainable human and national development. All this I say is that we're gonna come up with something so that men and women are gonna be equally represented as much as we can. 25 and 3 is nowhere near equal representation. Look at the next one. As well as addresses several of the concerns of women and men garnered through the various consultations. Here's another one. This policy where we are reading now addresses the various facets of gender inequality and further builds on the work that is already in progress in order to take into account the varied and different circumstances, experiences, socioeconomic realities, and concerns of women and men. That is gender equality. Look at the next one. Look for the one in the circle. So equal and equitable. So she should do for our thing, right? Now, make we go down and we are going to show you something now. Make we go down and show you something. Here it is again. The Vision 2030, they talk about the Vision 2030 development plan. And they said it is identifying and overcoming the limitations to the empowerment of women and men. People don't notice me I use both genders all the time. I don't say women. And them not say it either. Because them realize that in order for you to have a society that is reflective of everything that's going on, the people, the customs, all these stuff, you have to have representation, equal representation. That's what them call for. This policy calls for it. Look what it says. Look, there are significant inequalities experienced by women and men in Jamaica. Both. Then we get carried away, so I put an asterisk on that one. It says gender equality. Listen carefully, people, if you can't read it. Gender, hold on, let me make sure. Someone of my things I make it up. Hold on then.
Yes, thank you.
There it is right there. Gender equality requires equal enjoyment by women and men of all the socially valued goods, opportunities, resources, and rewards afforded by one's citizenship. Gender equity strives for the equalization of the life chances of women and men. Need I say more? Yes, we're going to say more. We're going to go down somewhere. Yeah. Look at this one here. The policy framework suggests that women and men, people don't notice every time they talk about a gender, them talk about both genders.
Good, well done.
Both.
Right? Women and men. Look at the very last, look at the second to last line. It says, therefore, eliminating barriers to equal participation at all levels of society for women and the men will translate into meaningful and sustainable human and national development, right? And it goes on, same thing, women and men, women and men, women and men. But I want to show you something here now. Let me skip trials, because all of this I talk about women and men. All right, page 24, we have to go to 19. Which one is? That are 27. Okay. All right. See we are now. Minister Johnson, I hope you're watching. All of the ministers that you're going to watch. Targets and indicators, the same policy. He said it is the responsibility of each ministry and its respective departments and agencies to utilize the strategies and tools above all the things you're going to talk about to develop gender responsive strategic plans, gender responsive components to the existing strategic plans with the support of this. Look at right so now let's start. We're in agreement. By way of targets, at the very minimum, each ministry is expected to do what? There's a list. Make mandatory the collection of sex disaggregated data related to the operations of each MDA, meaning ministries, departments, and agencies. Allocate budget resources towards gender mainstreaming and associated plans, projects, and programs, and appoint a point of contact, a GFP, to provide leadership to the development and implementation of responsive plans, projects, and agencies and programs. So, guess what? No. Funo brother, funo boy, funo uncle, who can't sleep at night time. Decide, say, here what? Kevin and Shake. Decide, say, this is a nice ATI. For ask them if them do them things, yeah. Because it's at a minimum, all of them must do this. All ministries, agencies, departments. So the man who can't sleep, right, get up. Well, actually, this was done in the daytime. Sit up, man who can't sleep. ATI people.
Done in the daytime, people. Is
ATI. ATI. And we are going to show you all some of them people in Jamaica, you know, they might take step with no boy, you know. But you see now, we know we don't have to shout and carry on and cuss and call people name and threaten. Not like that. We don't have to do that. We know how to do things distant. We know how to do things distant. See? So here's what now. Phone the boy right now and look at phone the boy right now. He write all of the ministries them now. And the two offices, office of the Prime Minister, office of the Cabinet, and say, listen, here what happened? Here to know. I trust that you and your families are doing well. See, but nice. You know? Now listen to what my nephew say. So no, and then we're gonna say, as you are acutely aware, as you know, International Women's Day will be celebrated this Saturday, March 28, 2025. In light of this celebration and its inextricable connection to the 2011 Jamaican National Policy for Gender Equality, that is the policy on justice, the following ATI requests are submitted. 1. Do all ministries and offices have a gender focal point? Because remember the thing said, we have to have a gender focal point. So we ask, when I go to departments and agencies, that, you know, we are dealing with ministries now. All I want to have this person, yeah? And if you don't have this person, why? Third question. If yes, who is this person and when was the designation made? 4. Did all ministries and offices collect sex disaggregated data related to their operations? Which is the same thing when I'm putting out, that's number 2. Number 3, did all ministries and offices allocate budget resources? That's number 3. I'm end it by saying I thank all of you for your attention to this matter and look forward to your responses within the statutory period, which is 30 days. Quite a few of them wrote me back and said, Mr. Rattigan, as they're required to do, Mr. Rattigan, we received your request and we will provide an appropriate response within the statutory period. right? But there's one person who feel like this not apply to them, so them are gonna show me up now. See her here, Miss Kerry Ann O'Connor. Me put her up on blast. How much I don't know who Miss Kerry Ann O'Connor is? Most of them don't know who she is. She work for the Prime Minister. So the office of the Prime Minister. You see, if you're looking at it, if you look on the address, you see the address, Kerry Ann O'Connor at OPM. OPM means Office of the Prime Minister. And look who all upon it now. She sent it to Mr. Rocky Mead, Ambassador Plenipotentiary. So I don't know if I drape them, want to drape me up now. But she sent it to people who me never send it to. So I don't know if she was told to do this or she on her own. So I go show Mr. Rattigan something. So she said, dear Mr. Rattigan, we have received your request and we're kindly requesting, listen to the language and read it. We're kindly requesting that you refine your ATI so that necessary steps can be taken to get you the access you're seeking. And then she gonna make a mistake. She gonna put on it now, say, she gonna quote the ATI and them shall know so them can't quote the ATI to me. Them can't quote the ATI to me. If anything, I mean, I quote it to them. And here she said, in keeping with the ATI, Part 1, Section 2 talks about this is the objects, the purpose of the act, and it says to reinforce and give further effect to fundamental principles underlying the system of constitutional. All that mean, people, is that, listen, there's a certain amount of fairness and accountability and transparency involved. And it got to see right there, so government accountability, transparency, and public participation. They're saying that this is the purpose for the ATI, so that you can hold government accountable, so that government is transparent, and so that you can participate in national decision making. So then she goes on and say, by granting to the public a general right of, I don't know why she highlight this, a general right of access to official documents held by public authorities, subject to exemption, blah, 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 blah. It's nonsense. All of this what she put at the last paragraph, pure nonsense. And then look what she said. With the above being said, we await clarification from you. So they might look for two things from me. This, they might look for refinement. See that? We are kindly requesting that you refine. And don't as such, she said, we await clarification. So they want refinement, clarification. Mama no raise no fool, you know. My mother never cleaned people's house. My mother was not maid, a domestic servant. I'm not afraid to say so. Can I take pride in that because my mother took pride in it because she said me I work hard at clean white people's house and a clean mess so that you can get an education so that you don't have to come and do what me I do. You can elevate yourself above the level of your family right now. Mama, your money no waste. Your boy now send it back to everybody who should send it to. And look how your boy treat her again. All I know who should send it to. I trust that you and your families are doing well too. And then we could have nasty her up, you know. But me not do that. Look at me right. As you're acutely aware. No, another one there. Sorry, another one there. Let me go back. Go down further. But you send it to everybody. Oh, see me, I know. Come remember now, she now take me on now, you know. So my address her, Miss O'Connor, I hope you are well. Meaning that
wait, stop.
I was nothing wrong with the headpiece. I was nothing wrong with the headpiece because you know why you take me on.
Look at wait. Watch the date, people. Look at the date.
Yesterday.
Ooh, fresh. Fresh video.
Ink is not dry. Yesterday. The ink not dry. You're right. Hold on, no, cause me not waste time with them people, no, cause she write me fear one there. See fear one, I know. See, look on the date for fear one, March 7th at 9:42. I say my one, be busy. I take care of clients' work. And me I go find some time for dealer and 121. Right, me write her back. And me say, Miss O'Connor, I hope you are well. And like me said before, but that well they mean that I hope nothing wrong with you. You know, I hope nothing wrong with you. We say, please accept this communication as my response to your request for refinement and clarification so that necessary steps can be taken to identify the documents to which access is being sought. Second thing, additionally, this communication is a submission of amended ATI request to the office of the Prime Minister. So, me tell her, if you think when me did send you before, did cause you trouble, wait till you see where the below now. So, me say, reference is made to the National Policy for Gender Equality dated March 2011, page 24. So they can go look for themselves. And I say, wherein it is stated, quote, by way of target, at the very minimum, emphasis mine, each ministry is expected to do what? I'm saying, name the three things in there. I'm going to say, in the spirit of part 1, section 2, which she quote to me, my request seeks to obtain information evidencing that the ministries and offices complied with the instructions as set forth in the policy, page 24. I trust that the aforementioned will satisfy your request for refinement and clarification. So I said to her, I hope them things I'm going to put up here, so with the three things and or me name out the policy, I hope that will sharpen your thought about or make you more aware of why me I do this. So here are, Mr. The following is the amended list of my ATI requests. You know what bother them? When we go say to them, say, if you never do it, you must tell me why. Because we can't hear them attack and say, who him think him is? Who him be? Him the American come tell we, you must tell me what to do with this policy. And if you never do it, you must tell me, report to me, tell me why. Well, take a look at this, Mr. O'Connor. Do all ministries and office have a gender focal point? Same question. Number 2, if no, why not? Number 3, if yes, who is the person and when did the designation take place? Number 4, did they collect sex disaggregated data? 5, if yes, when was this done? On a report to me, when was this done? 6, if it wasn't done, tell me why. Why wasn't it done? Then 7 question, did they allocate budget? If yes, tell me when on allocate it in the budget. And if you didn't do it, account to me. Why wasn't it done? I said, thanks for your attention to this matter. I look forward to your response within the statutorily prescribed period. Yours truly. I mean that. So, what me I try to show you is that here's what happened now. Let me connect the dots for now. Minister Kamina Johnson Smith gone up, they're gonna make big speech, right? For International Women's Day, talk about chap 25 out of 28. Meanwhile, she knows that you have a policy but say you can't do that.
23 out of 28.
23 out of 28. You can't, the policy say you can't do that. And then now me say, you know what? I'm saying she a separate one, you know, because you know she's special. So me saying a separate one. I'm say, Minister, want you tell me now if you do them 3 things here. Why you tell me if you do them 3 things? Because here's what happened. Them not do it. You remember me said, no ask question if you don't know the answer, you know.
I've learned.
Right now, them are run up and down right now. Me I hear them are run up and down right now. I try to figure out how to answer. What them do with that lady now was put her in to distract me. But me not distracted. Me focus. I know me come back and say, we have to answer me now. And so now them are trying to figure out how we are going to answer him now because we not do it. We not do it. Here it is that we are talking about Women's International Day and this and equality and blah, blah, blah. And we have a policy. We have a well-written, well-drafted policy. And we now follow it. Like a dear friend of mine who I watch a program said, Jamaica is good for drafting and enacting policy, but not good in implementing policy. Anything you can think about, Jamaica have a version of it. Jamaica have a policy for that. And then when you go now and say, all right, show me now what to do. Show me now a problem. So people, that's why I'm telling you how important it is that you learn to file ATIs, you know. You learn to, I am telling you this, mark my words, Rattigan is gonna be the reason why they're gonna try and change ATIs. Because people, some days, you know, when my head take me, my headpiece right, you know, my headpiece right, I know, like the lady right, that's why I'm not question her headpiece. Some days when my headpiece a function, you know, a click, you know, all 3 and 4 me send, you know. And guess what? Me I get answers. And when me not get answers, me know who forgot to raise it another level. Me know who forgot to. Just me not call no name, but just this week, Kevin, or last week, we have a meeting. We have a meeting with a government official. A meeting with a government official regarding this ATI issue. I mean, I explained
This
to him.
past week.
Is last week? Last week, yeah.
This past week.
Yeah. And me sit down, I said to him, say, listen. And when me start, and he might watch though. Come and tell him, say, you better watch the program, you know. And you know him said to me, the man said, please don't put a target on my back. I'm begging you. Don't put a target on my back.
No, call my name.
Me not gonna call on him. But what happened is that I explain things to them in Jamaica. What am I say? How you know this? Implicit in that is how you don't know this.
That is a real question.
Yeah. How you don't know this? I know how me know it. How you don't know it.
That is a real question.
Kevin and I, we did a little thing here. I wait there, Kevin.
Tell you, this man will leave me with an inch, you know.
No,
when I hear him talk about him brain and how him brain work, let me tell you how him brain work. We realized it because he did a scan the other day. It's a requirement. We realized that the left side has nothing right, and on the right side, there's nothing left.
No, for all of you people who think Mega say me for call name. No, Mega, me can't do that, man. Me do that. No. Make a promise. Me can't do that. I have to keep a promise. But here's what happened. All of you who think say Rattigan go stop. Rattigan go stop. Check this out.
That won't be happening. That will not happen. That will never happen.
You're fighting for best black guy.
God, you would even know.
That will never happen. That will never happen.
But you know, I hear Paulo Lamumba from Kenya, the professor, right? Lamumba. And he was saying that somebody was saying that there are quite a lot of intelligent criminals in Africa. And he said, no, they're not intelligent criminals. They're just common thieves. And they're thieves, we're not smart. So when I look at Jamaica, not calling anybody thieves, but I look at Jamaica, these officials are not smart. Because if I know who Mr. Rattigan is, and I know people in the comment section know who the gentleman is and the gentleman's experience, how is it that they're making these schoolboy and schoolgirl mistakes? It's a disrespect to Jamaica, not to you, Mr. Rattigan, to Jamaicans who are paying these people so much money, and they're making these type of silly mistakes. But continue. Why it's just crazy.
Them gonna make a whole heap of mistakes, man. Whole heap of mistakes. We have my brethren. I don't want to keep them out too late, you know. We have more stories, you know. We have more stories, man. And by the way, we're gonna open up the phone line, you know, people, so you can call me and ask me anything you want to ask me. But I'm not telling you right now. Mega, I know you want me to name names, but I can't name names. So into secrecy, I can't name names and I can't give a positions and things like that. That goes without saying. Because Mega, if you tell me something and say, hey, your lips are sealed, I that, I can't talk about it. But just make you know, say, me talk to public officials, government officials in Jamaica, and them understand where I come from, and them know say me not stop. Them know me not stop. So that's where it